I'm Sharon Tazwell. Here's your Spectrum News in 90. A groundbreaking antitrust lawsuit could soon change how concertgoers pay for tickets. The U.S. government and dozens of states filed a lawsuit against Live Nation, accusing the parent company of Ticketmaster of abusing its industry dominance to harm fans. The DOJ saying Live Nation is, quote, suffocating the competition.
Live Nation relies on unlawful, anti-competitive conduct to exercise its monopolistic control over the live events industry in the United States.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is predicting an above-average hurricane season with 17 to 25 named storms. It's the highest number of named storms in any NOAA preseason forecast. The administration predicts 4 to 7 major hurricanes of Category 3 or higher. Louisville police released 2 videos Thursday showing some of the arrests of star golfer Scottie Scheffler last week. Officials also announced the detective who made the arrest wore on camera at the time. Scheffler called the incident a misunderstanding.
We're prepared to litigate the case as long and as aggressively as necessary. We're not interested in settling the case. It'll either be dismissed or we'll go to trial.
Those are your headlines. Now, let's take a look at your weather on the ones.
Hi there, I'm meteorologist Robert Santos. Once again, we're going to be tracking some storms moving across the eastern half of the country. Here's Friday morning. Storms moved across Iowa, Illinois, and down towards the south there. And as we go throughout the day into the evening hours, we'll see some of those storms intensify right across the south. Now, temperatures to start off our morning, 50s, 60s, and 70s. So pretty warm down south. During the day, even warmer. And the warmth continues all the way up into the northeast once again with 80s there.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Sharon Tazwell. A major lawsuits in the entertainment industry. The Justice Department sued Ticketmaster and its parent company Thursday, accusing them of running an illegal monopoly over live events. Spectrum's Reuben Jones is in Washington with a look at how the DOJ is looking to break up the companies.
Well, this is a sweeping lawsuit from the Department of Justice plus 24 other states against Ticketmaster and its parent company, Live Nation Entertainment. The company is accused of squelching competition and driving up prices for fans. The company has faced widespread criticism from customers, lawmakers, and musicians for its practices. You might recall Ticketmaster got a lot of criticism in November 2022 when its site crashed during a pre-sale event for Taylor Swift's stadium tour. But this lawsuit really focuses on what the Attorney General says is unlawful for fans, fewer opportunities for artists to give concerts, and smaller promoters getting squeezed out.
It is time for fans and artists to stop paying the price for Live Nation's monopoly. It is time to restore competition and innovation in the entertainment industry. It is time to break up Live Nation Ticketmaster.
Live Nation and Ticketmaster responded to the lawsuit, saying its net profits show it does not wield monopoly power, and the lawsuit distracts from real solutions that would decrease prices and protect fans. In Washington, Reuben Jones, Spectrum News.
Donald Trump holding a campaign rally in the South Bronx, looking to win over Black and Hispanic voters. The former president expected to address the economy, crime, and immigration, but the event already causing some controversy. Various labor and civil rights groups planning to hold. Spectrum's Bobby Kuza joins us now from the event. Bobby, what's the former president hoping to accomplish?
Well, you know, it's interesting, Sharon, because I think former President Trump is trying to show that he's making inroads in some areas where he and the Republican Party have not traditionally performed well. I mean, we are here in the South Bronx, which is one of the bluest counties in the entire U.S. In the Bronx, Democrats outnumber Republicans by 12-1. President Biden got about 83% of the vote here in the Bronx back in 2020, but his support is softening. Here in New York, polls now show him with only about a 9-point lead over former President Trump. Trump has been making inroads among young people, among blacks, among Latinos. And so in this traditionally deep blue borough, we now see a beach in a little while. Just about a short while from now. Right now we've got some warm-up speakers. There's a crowd of several hundred, if not a few thousand Trump supporters I'm also seeing a crowd of several hundred more still waiting to get processed to get inside. So this is a substantial show of force by Donald Trump. Remember, he's also been on trial in Lower Manhattan, facing charges related to that hush money case. And we spoke to people here today who said they don't care about the outcome of that case. They are sticking with Trump, and we'll see what he has to say to supporters here tonight.
All right, Bobby Kuza, New York City. Thanks so much. Authorities say the Kentucky police officer who arrested pro golfer Scottie Scheffler outside the PGA Championship is receiving corrective action for failing to have his body dropped.
Several new developments in the Scottie Scheffler saga in Louisville, stemming from the golfer's arrest outside the gates of the PGA Championship last Friday morning. On Thursday, Louisville's police chief, Jacqueline Gwen Villarreal, announced the officer who made initial contact with Scheffler had not activated his body-worn camera, and that was a violation of policy.
We understand the seriousness of the failure to capture this interaction, which is why our officer has received corrective action for this policy violation.
The police chief also announced the release of 2 pieces of video, including this dash cam video from another squad that shows Scheffler being escorted into frame and out by 2 officers and presumably in handcuffs. The other piece of video is from this vantage point high atop a fixed pole that shows Scheffler's vehicle at the gates of Valhalla and officers approach. Today, Scottie Scheffler's lawyer, Steve Romans, says either the charges against his client will be dropped or he will take this to trial.
It won't impact my case at all. Our position's the same as it was last Friday. Scottie Scheffler didn't do anything wrong. We're not interested in settling the case. We will either try it or it'll be dismissed.
Attorney Roman says every piece of evidence and piece of video he has seen further supports his client's claim he did nothing wrong. That's the latest in Louisville. Jonathan Gregg, Spectrum News.
Just ahead on Spectrum News, addressing anti-Semitism on campus. The heated exchange Thursday on Capitol Hill.
Spectrum News Plus, news across the nation, with balanced reporting, providing real context and in-depth coverage 24 hours a day.
Here's a look at your forecast across the country.
Local stories, connecting communities. We are Spectrum News Plus. Streaming now on the Spectrum News app and free with your Spectrum subscription.
At Spectrum, we know how much you depend on the reliability of our products and services. Now, we've taken a new step forward in reliability by identifying potential service issues before they become a problem. If you're affected, we'll contact you and help schedule a free service appointment with one of our expert technicians. The proactive maintenance of our network is one of the many reasons Spectrum delivers the most reliable internet speeds in the nation. Spectrum, keeping you connected.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Well, the chances for severe weather will continue as we round out the week. Hi there, I'm meteorologist Robert Santos. The outlook for Thursday shows an enhanced threat of severe weather right around Nebraska and Iowa. Now, the threat is going to lower just a little bit. It'll be a slight risk for severe weather for all these areas in yellow and all around it marginal. So we're talking about Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Texas. Now let's take a look at these storms as they move across. So here's Friday in the morning. You can see where they are. Storms pretty scattered all across the area here. And then as we go into Friday in the afternoon, a wet commute perhaps for some of you in Tennessee and Arkansas and up towards Iowa and Illinois. And then Friday and Saturday morning, let's go there, and you'll see more storms popping up right around the Central Plains. Sunday morning, you see them start to an enhanced threat here. So we're talking about some large hail, some damaging winds, and can't rule out tornadoes as well. And even in the areas in yellow, there could be some tornadoes. Now look at the next 3 days. Minneapolis, you've got rainy weather for your Friday and for your Sunday. I'm going dry for you with 70s on Saturday, probably the most pleasant day there. Syracuse, New York, a warm up coming here, but dry weather here for now. Wet weather as well over St. Louis with some thunderstorms with a break there on Saturday. So that's going to be your day to really get outside if you would like. Sunday, now some of those thunderstorms will occur and possibly even during the evening hours. Charlotte, we've got a slow warm up here to 91 degrees on Sunday, the wetter day on Friday, and dry for you in Dallas. But that also comes with a heat up into the mid-90s there on Sunday. And contrast that with the cooler weather, below average here for Southern California, although Memorial Day will go up another 2-3 degrees here. First, the area right here in the Central Plains basically calling for a wetter than average outlook.
Another round of college presidents are grilled on Capitol Hill over anti-Semitism on their campuses. Spectrum News anchor Robert Guadarrama is here to break down the fireworks from the hearing. Robert.
Sharon, it got heated, that is for sure. It was a hearing held by the House Committee on Education and the Workforce. The presidents of Northwestern University, Rutgers University, and UCLA were called to Capitol Hill following a wave of pro-Palestinian protests across the country. Lawmakers questioned the leaders over allegations of hate speech and hate-fueled acts on their campuses. But it was an exchange, Sharon, between Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik and Schill that is going viral. Here she is questioning him about a recent anti-Semitism report card released by the Anti-Defamation League that gave Northwestern an F.
I'm not asking your respect for the ADL. I'm asking, is it a fact that you earned an F and they called for your resignation?
I have great respect for the ADL. I am sad that they gave Northwestern
But
an
it's
F.
true. You got an F. Yes. Moving on.
Congresswoman Stefanik then listed alleged incidents that took place at Northwestern, a Jewish student getting assaulted, another getting verbally harassed and stalked, and a third Jewish student spat on. President Schill said these incidents are all under investigation. Sharon.
And you know, Robert, these pro-Palestinian protests are continuing across
Right.
campuses, and I hear there was quite a scene at Harvard.
That's right. So as this hearing was going on, hundreds of people walked out of Harvard's commencement ceremony. This was all in protest of the seniors from the graduation who took part in pro-Palestinian activities. And this as a pro-Palestinian encampment has resurfaced on UCLA's campus.
All right, I'm sure there's more to come from that. All right,
Okay.
Robert Guadarrama, thanks. The governing board of North Carolina's public university system voted Thursday to repeal its current diversity policy. The system outlines various diversity-related jobs that could soon be eliminated. As Spectrum's Evan Siri reports, the move will impact all 17 schools in the system immediately.
Police and protesters clashing Thursday morning inside a downtown Raleigh apartment complex. They were there because a few floors above,
all those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed?
The UNC Board of Governors held a meeting that would ultimately lead to a vote that will affect countless DEI programs and repeal a nearly 5-year-old university policy.
And when these principles are faithfully held, they allow diversity in all forms.
UNC System President Peter Hans led the meeting. The policy change will affect all 17 of the UNC System schools. Hans highlighted the main points.
So non-discrimination, institutional neutrality, free expression, academic freedom, they're all mutually reinforcing concepts and values.
But this protester sees it differently.
They stand for colonization. They stand for discrimination.
He was taken away in handcuffs after clashing with police in an elevator.
We are for power. We are for peace. We are for love. They are for discrimination. They are for exclusion. And they are for intimidation.
It It's unclear how many DEI jobs will be impacted. Schools have until September 1st to comply with the new policy.
Empathy and trust in the search for truth and knowledge. That's our mission.
The U.S. is expected to announce $275 million in military aid for Ukraine Friday. As according to two U.S. officials, the package includes high-mobility rocket systems, munitions, and artillery rounds. It comes as Ukraine's capital city of Kyiv struggles to hold off Russian forces. This will be the fourth round of military aid for the country since Congress passed a long-delayed foreign aid bill last month. The Federal Communications Commission has fined a political consultant who sent AI-generated robocalls using President Joe Biden's voice. The calls were sent to voters ahead of New Hampshire's presidential primary. They falsely suggested voting in the primary would preclude voters from casting ballots in November. The consultant, Steve Kramer, was hit with a $6 million fine, and the company accused of transmitting the calls also fined $2 million. Louisiana lawmakers have approved a bill that would class misoprostol as dangerous and controlled substances. Supporters of the bill say it would protect expectant mothers from coerced abortions. But the Food and Drug Administration does not consider abortion pills to be drugs with the potential for dependence or abuse. Well, the state currently has a near total abortion ban in place. Coming up on Spectrum News, inspiring a new generation of readers. What one Kentucky organization is doing for children.
Here's the deal. In this election year, people need a place to explore national issues that have an impact on their community. To understand those issues better, we're bringing together our team of local political journalists from across the country to break down what's happening.
Watch The Big Deal with Errol Lewis Friday nights at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Spectrum News Plus. Available on all of your favorite devices exclusively on Spectrum.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Rounding out the week with some stormy weather in the eastern half of the country. We'll be shifting into the Midwest and Arklatex region there for our Friday. It's going to continue to be hot across a big portion of the east and all the way down into the south. And then by contrast, you could see cooler and cloudy conditions all across the west. Now that's the coastal areas there. So from Seattle down into Los Angeles, 11 to 13 degrees. Below average, and then above average temperatures here on the eastern side, and it continues for you in New York and in Boston with 14 to 19 degrees above average with high temperatures like this, all in the 80s here, all the way down towards Charlotte and St. Louis and Columbus, mild up in Minneapolis, St. Paul and Milwaukee, hot out in Las Vegas and Phoenix. And right there at LA, we're looking at about mid 60s, but you go a few miles inland and you'll start to get into those, let's say, upper 60s to low 70s, and that's in the inland cities, where it should typically be warmer for this time of year. So those are forecast highs, but when you factor in the humidity, once again, feeling like it's in the triple digits all the way up into Dallas and even across there to Shreveport. Now, out in the east, Boston still another day of 80s, as well as Springfield down to Providence, and then even farther north, you're seeing Augusta and Portland still in the 80s. Bangor coming down just a little bit there in the upper 70s. So Boston, Massachusetts, when's the relief coming? 68 is the average. We'll get close to that on Monday. So warmer, and 70s certainly better than 80s there for your Saturday and Sunday. Memorial Day, Monday, the coolest, and then you see some 70s as well next week. Louisville, Kentucky, you've got 4 days in the 80s and then cooling down below average for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So it'll be warm like it typically is for Memorial Day for this time of year. San Antonio, Texas, the Sundays, once again, the heat will continue. We drop down to 90s for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And for Tampa, Florida, also above average for when you add on again the humidity and it's feeling hotter. Los Angeles, it's not until next week, Thursday, that we get closer to average there. Until then, it's below average, which is not so bad when you can see just how warmer it is around the rest of the country. From May 30th to June 5th, here's the outlook for temperatures. All of these areas in orange showing warmer than average, especially warmer down in Texas.
The U.S. could experience an above-average Atlantic hurricane season this year. That's according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which announced its annual outlook Thursday. The early forecast predicts the North Atlantic could see 17 to 25 named storms, 8 to 13 hurricanes, and 4 to 7 major hurricanes. It is the highest number of named storms in any NOAA preseason forecast. Robert Santos joins us from Southern California. Robert, some of the headlines coming out today using words like extraordinary and aggressive.
Sharon, and it's all because of all these different factors that are coming together. Let's first start off in the Pacific. Now, the Pacific Ocean is cooling. We're heading fast into this La Nina pattern, and while this may lead to fewer hurricanes out in the Pacific, on the opposite side, it generally leads to more hurricanes out in the Atlantic, and that's all because there typically is less wind shear when we have this kind of a pattern setting up and more instability. And then on top of that, we have record temperatures in the Atlantic Ocean. Look at these temperatures, 80 to 90 degrees, and even warmer to the south of us. And some of these ocean temperatures are typical of August, not right now. And then the third factor is scientists are saying that it looks like we could have a busier than normal West African monsoon, meaning increased thunderstorms, which will lead to those easterly waves that in the first place. Now remember, despite all the numbers, it only takes one hurricane to make a hurricane season devastating. And so regardless of all the numbers being forecast, keep in mind, we prepare just the same.
Yeah,
Sharon?
Very good point there. Thanks so much, Robert Santos in Southern California. A Kentucky family is honoring the tragic loss of their 2 children by connecting other kids with access to books. Spectrum's Nikel Delgado tells us how the family is already making a difference in the community.
The Addie and Baylor Kirch-Kessner Foundation strives to enrich the lives of children through books and stories. The foundation was created in 2020 after the Kirch-Kessner family lost their children, Addie and Baylor, in an accident in Panama City. Matt Kirch-Kessner is their father and co-founder of the nonprofit.
They were just 2 fun-loving kids. He was just being an avid reader. She was in 1st grade and starting in Junie B. Jones in chapter books, and Baylor was just kind of getting started, but we read to our kids every night.
The foundation hosts scholastic book fairs at schools across Louisville and southern Indiana to ignite a fire for reading. Stone Street Elementary 5th graders Ainsley Grant and Anthony Dean says they love reading, and this fair helps them create their own home libraries.
Reading shouldn't be a punishment. It should be something fun that you can do instead of spending all your time on a screen.
Some books are just exciting, and some things like World War II, no one at my age would ever experience that unless they had like a book or something like that. And the fiction books, those are just a whole different deal.
every student at Stone Street Elementary got to pick out 3 books at no cost to them. Volunteer, she would have loved something like this as a kid.
With all the new technology in the world, that books still bring excitement and joy to a child's heart, and I think it's important that literacy is something that should be on top of our mind, especially for our youth.
Stone Street Elementary's principal, Donnie Bemker, says this is jump-starting the younger generation to books by increasing access.
Our reading scores improved, so this is another way that we can increase our scores in reading.
Kirch Kessner says their goal this year is to get 100,000 books into the hands of kids to keep sparking their imagination.
With everything we chose, we had a choice. We had a choice to be better or to be bitter, and we chose to be better, and that's what we're doing here. You know, we're making a difference in the community. Addie and Baylor they're making a difference in the community. This is their legacy. They love to help people, and this is just an extension of them.
The foundation is just getting started. Reporting in Louisville, I'm Nikel Delgado, Spectrum News.
I'm Sharon Tazwell. Thanks for watching. Your Spectrum News in 90 is coming up right after this short break. Stay with us.
At Spectrum News, we're committed to strengthening the fabric of local communities through our reporting, with stories that inspire and news that matters. Stream keeping you informed and in the know throughout your day. Spectrum News Plus, local stories connecting communities. Exclusively for Spectrum customers. Now available on your favorite devices.
At Spectrum, our workforce of over 100,000 employees are all located right here in the U.S. You can find them in our stores, in the field, and in our call centers with 100% U.S.-based customer service. Our team works hard to provide the towns, cities, and neighborhoods they live in with the reliable services that everyone counts on, making us one of America's most trusted companies. We're Spectrum, creating jobs and opportunities across the country, and proud to be 100% U.S.-based.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
Designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go.